Hello, everybody. All right, there we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first concept of Universe Sandbox, where I am going to be performing an experiment that all of you have been waiting for. In this video, I'm going to be replacing the sun with some exotic stars from the universe. But before we get started with that, I would like to thank you all for joining me last week for my Minecraft session, and now this week we're going to be jumping into Universe Sandbox. So, in this first episode of Universe Sandbox, we're going to be understanding a little bit of physics and a little bit of comprehension to the stars. So let's just give you an idea of what the solar system is comprised of. So let me just zoom in here. So we have the four rocky planets, Mercury, Mars, Venus, and Earth, with their textures of, well, their textures. And we zoom out a little bit and we get Uranus and Neptune with their ice giant formed. And we zoom out a little bit more and we see Saturn and Jupiter as the gas giants. Now, Earth is a pretty big planet, but if you think about it, it's the fifth biggest in the solar system. And we zoom out all the way to the sun and, well, the Earth is barely visible. So, to begin this, we are going to be, to start this, I am going to be using the sun, and then we will be using other stars. But we're going to use the sun in a rather exotic way. So let's go ahead and pause the simulation, just because I'm not sure what this is going to do to the orbits. So what I'm going to do is I am going to keep the mass the same, but I'm going to double the radius. So as you can see, the mass automatically locks. So let's bump this up to 2 radii and see what happens. So again, the mass is unchanged. We're going to speed time up just a little bit and see if anything changes. It looks like everything is rather normal, actually. Let's speed things up just a little bit more. Actually, things look fine. Now, let's say I were to lock the radius and double the mass of the sun. Okay, so immediately we get to see some incredible changes to the inner planets. We see all of the planets getting pretty wild orbits. I mean, look at Mercury and Venus and, like, their exotic orbits. Mars is actually colder than it originally was. Earth is warmer, Venus is cooler, and Mercury, I think, is relatively warm. But let's look at the Earth for a second, because I would think that... Wait a minute. Is, like, half of North America gone, or... No, everything's still here. Sorry, for a minute I thought that North America disappeared. Nope, everything is still there. Okay, so maybe doubling the sun doesn't work, so how about we double it again? 4 times. And speed times up and see what happens. Okay, so we already see the orbits of the planets changing. Oh, that was a pretty close call with the Earth and Mars. So already we see drastic differences in temperature swings. Here comes Jupiter swinging around in its wild orbit. Mars actually is even colder than it originally was, negative 46 degrees. Now, don't get me wrong, Mars does get pretty warm here. I wouldn't say warm, minus, well... What is that? 37 below zero? So I guess I wouldn't say it gets cold, but it also doesn't get exotic. We got some crazy orbits in here. We got Mercury swinging around every couple of days. We got Venus coming in between. We got, oh, that was close. Earth and Mercury have a constant orbit pattern. So all of the orbits have some sort of pattern. Everybody's crossing orbits. I'm just curious, what do the outer planets look like? Okay, so we should probably use this chart because it looks a little more recognizable. So we have Jupiter swinging around, we got Saturn in a highly eccentric orbit, and then we got Uranus and Neptune. Neptune actually is the only one that has not changed. Uranus hasn't changed, Saturn's going up a bit. Jupiter's going up a bit. So if I speed time up here, will any of the planets like fly out of orbit, or will everything fall into harmony? No, everything's good. Everything has fallen into harmony. Let's turn the trails back off. So you see Neptune's cruising in, Saturn. Actually, while we're here, I think Neptune's getting a little bit more sunlight now. Wait a minute. Mars has completely changed its... So Mars has completely flip-flopped its orbit somehow. Don't know how that happened. So Mars is now on some sort of eccentric orbit, which means now it gets... Wait, is that water? That's water. That's water. We finally have water on the red planet. It doesn't have an atmosphere, though. Actually, it does, but the sun stays in the sky, so it doesn't get a lot of sunlight, does it? Okay, so maybe increasing the mass wasn't a good idea. So let's lock that, and let's multiply radius by 10. Whoa. I think I just screwed something up here. Because now Earth, Venus, oh, look at Venus, Mercury, Earth. I think all of the planets have now shifted. Let's just speed time up and see what happens. So, Mercury immediately got incinerated by the sun. I think the rest of the planets are now okay. I mean, considering being 200 degrees Celsius and crossing orbits and stuff. Venus is now a hot wasteland with literally no sign of extra life or anything. It gets pretty close to the sun, actually, with its orbit now going nearly 3 times closer than it originally does. I'm just going to pause it and be like, okay, if you were standing on Venus, if you could somehow stand the temperatures of Venus, this would be your view. Like, literally the entire sky is just sun. And so you then fly across and... okay. So, maybe not... So, now that Mercury's gone, maybe we should try doubling it again. Just because I don't know if this is going to work. Now, to be fair, this might crash my game. But let's see what happens. Oh! It just incinerated Venus and Earth. And the sun is now cooling down really quickly. I think Mars might get incinerated. I don't know, though. It looks okay. I like that there's water on the red planet now. There's water on the surface. Oh. Okay, Mars is gone. Okay, so the sun is cooling down at a fast rate. And I mean, like, I'm going to speed time up and it's... Oh. The sun just disappeared. Okay, so the sun, after a certain amount of clicks, just disappears, which means the planets are now going to fly off into their exotic path. Okay, so increasing the sun didn't work. So I'm going to pause this, and I will be right back with the solar system that we originally had. Okay, so I was able to find another copy of the solar system. It's not the exact copy I had, but at least it's a copy of the solar system that we're able to screw around with. Okay, so last time we increased the sun, and it didn't work. So how about we try increasing the sun with some other stars of the Milky Way? So how about we replace the sun, so let's just get rid of it, and let's put in a rather similarly sized sun called Alpha Centauri. Now, this might screw the planets up Let's turn off trails. And let's just see what happens. Okay, so the star is moving. Probably wasn't a good idea to turn it off lock mode. Okay, so I think the planets have... Oh my. I was going to say, I think the planets have gotten into some relative orbits, but as I zoom out, it's just a bunch of scattered mess. Okay, so everything up to like Jupiter has a constant orbit, I would say. Let's see how the Earth is doing. Much hotter than anticipated. It has this elliptical orbit that it now... So everything now orbits a sun-sized star called Alpha Centauri. The first of many sets of planets. So maybe placing Alpha Centauri didn't work. So let's go ahead and reset it. And maybe instead of Alpha Centauri, let's go ahead and let's get rid of the sun again. And let's look a little bit more closer. How about we try, I don't know, a little bit bigger. Let's try, what's a good one? Let's try this one. Riggle? Whatever. Play it. See, now everything just crashes into it. Why is it moving? I gotta learn how to fix that. Okay, so immediately everything is vaporizing. Uranus entered. Neptune is starting to. How about Pluto? 300 degrees. So, I gotta somehow turn off the lock mode because the star keeps moving. So, let me go ahead and I think it's with the actual star itself. Motion. Position lock. Come on, you stupid thing. Oh, wait. Don't I have to, like, turn all this off? No? Okay, so everything's just gonna continue to move in a straight line. So I don't know what happened, but I think what is going on is the game is completely messing up the problems of the solar system. So what's out here? There's nothing. Okay. So I think what's happening is when I try to place a star, it completely messes everything up. So I gotta find a way to somehow like lock the sun or lock whatever star I put in place. So let's just try that same one again. And where was it? It was right here. So let's just try that again. And let's lock it in place. Hold on, I have to lock it. Collide. So I have to lock it in place. And so let's play. Nope. Auto orbit. There we go. Okay, so I just paused it, but now everything's gonna crash into it still. So that's what we needed. So let's check out the orbits now. Let's see if... Okay, so they're very exotic, and I guess I wouldn't say exotic. They are way all over the place. At least they're all in a relatively orbital pattern. Okay, let's go ahead and speed time up here. Everything's gonna crash into it and get messy. So this star has about 21 masses of the sun. The name of it is called Riggle or Rigel, or maybe it's Rigel, I'm not sure. So, at any rate, we look at this, and it looks like a scattered mess of just asteroids, comets, planets, just all over the place. So, the main two planets that we still have are Uranus and Neptune, and they're, 800, 900 degrees. We got all these asteroids on the outskirts. Pluto is the only one that's recognizable. So if we were to slow time down, not have it fly past the star at an alarming rate, if we slow time down, you get to see the color patterns on the planets. So you got Pluto with all its red stripes and its dust particles. From the surface, if you were to if you were to go to the South Pole, which is probably blistering hot and you'd probably burn yourself, this would be your view. Actually, it would be this. And all you would see is just dust particles all over the place. This is all you would see. You would see this blackness of space before you come around again and just see this dust mess of a solar system, So that's exactly what it would be like. But furthermore, we got to turn the labels back on in the trails. But furthermore, this star up close is blue. So speeding time up, it looks blue. So that would mess up the solar system. So let's go ahead and reset it. And maybe instead of a blue star, maybe let's do a more massive star. This one has 40 masses of the sun. It's called Stephenson 2-18. We're going to have to lock it in place because it's going to move and, go all over the place. So we're going to lock it. We're going to auto-orbit. Let's see what happens. So all of that stuff will be consumed or destroyed by the star. I'm going to speed time up and... Okay. And they are moving inside the star. Why are they moving inside the star? Did they, escape the star or something? Because somehow Jupiter and Saturn have somehow... Okay, so I don't know what happened, but, the planets are... Okay, I was gonna say, I thought the planets were going through the star. See, like that, what the heck? It's like going through the star. I was like, what? It's why are they going through the star? Does it take it forever to... Okay, so what even is left of the solar system? Nothing. Everything got incinerated. Wow, okay, so something happened. Now, speaking of this star, I actually have an example with the solar system with the largest star. So I have the solar system, I have all the planets surrounding this star, all of them. So maybe what we can do is, obviously this would not be accurate. Obviously the star would have engulfed everything up to Saturn, but we have the privilege to use all the planets in this set of order. So let's jump over to Earth and let's go ahead and slow time down because Earth is flying really fast and I'd prefer it not to fly fast. I would prefer it to maybe slow down a little bit and not run like a cheetah. Alright, so animal references, I know, right? So anyways, one of the other things I was thinking of was replacing the stars in the solar system, but also what would happen to the star itself if it disappeared. So if I speed time up, of course we will speed time up and we're going to have to wait for a little while until these planets... Okay, so they're all sped up. What if I just simply zoom out a bit and just get rid of the star itself? You can see all of the inner planets have escaped. If we got to speed time up for the outer planets to escape, all of the planets would go into some sort of cold, frozen thing, so you have all of them. But the Earth itself would be the one we're most concerned about because look at its surface. It's all white. It's all blue and white. Mega year. I've never heard of a mega year. So one more thing I want to do before I end the video is I want to see what happens when one of the specific planets explodes. So we're going to take the tools bar, we're going to press explode, and we're going to have to slow time down just a bit. And there we go. Wow, that looks really cool. Having the particles zoom out like that, it just looks cool. Speed time up a little bit. That looks really cool. Having the particles move out at an alarming rate, that's cool. But they're all gonna turn black. Watch. They're like, you see it? Like they're all transferring. Well, first red and then black. If I zoom out, yeah, like there's nothing left. Like none of the planets would have. Alright guys, so I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment and subscribe, as always. I will talk to you all later. Peace out, everyone. Bye.